Don't bump into me, dude. Look at her.
Professional.
Bruh, I'm on one hand. Legit taking the video, bruh. You're gonna tell me you a pro.
Otherwise, I'm sorry, guys.
Ooh, looks so pretty.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm back.
You know, being surrounded by a lot of creatives is a very different atmosphere. And it's not an atmosphere that I'm used to, but it's an atmosphere that I love. Because when the ideas and the juices start flowing, it's actually quite exciting and it's really fun.
I've actually made it a tradition that every time I come to campus, I have to go to the office just to see like everybody, you know.
So when I present, I always panic, but having everybody, like having people like behind the scenes and stuff, like it also kind of helps as well, you know, because they kind of calm me down as well, so I become more relaxed.
I'm learning a lot than just me by myself learning. So with other creatives, I learn a lot, and it has had a positive impact, I would say. Really positive impact on how I think, how I approach my work, and basically my work ethic in like being a creative.
When I started working at Co-op CTV, I thought that I was gonna like feel out at first, you know, just because I thought that, you know, these people have been doing this for a while now and I'm pretty new to it. And when I actually started, people were so welcoming, like everyone, like not only from the entertainment segment.
I'm just like grateful to have like these creatives around me who inspire me, who I learn from, and vice versa. So yeah, the energy is perfect.
I was not as passionate about the media industry in the beginning of the year. And when I came here and saw people's passion about it, and they actually want to do something, and they actually want to reach out and tell stories that are not being told, I thought to myself, this is great and I should get aboard with this.
Kovsie CTV is where everything started for me. That's where I met most of the people, and actually came to Kovsie CTV by accident. Well, not really. Actually, I joined Kovsie CTV on purpose. They interviewed me as a first year. Frank said, come for an interview tomorrow, and I did. And so that's how I became part of Kovsie CTV.
Oh, I've made friends in Kovsie CTV. Well, I think they're my friends. Muiteri, please tell me that you're my friend. Of course, Jupo. You know, you and I are like tongue and saliva, girl, together always. I don't know why I'm doing this, but you know.
My reason for Kovsie TV Sport is mainly after the video of women's rugby. When I got to see the video, it was exciting, you know, like, because I was in the field when the video was being shot, but the product from what was happening in the field to the product of the video, it was like a transformation, you know, like the quality, everything was just so perfect. So I wanted to know how that was done.
What I love about working with people in the sports segment, they also love sport. They're not just there because they want to be part of a segment. They love sport, they know sports, and if they don't know a sport, they learn about it.
I get to work with people who are really good at presenting, the likes of Lwazi, Bam Bam, you know. It's really interesting, and people like Koketsu who are great for videographers, and I get to learn.
To be honest, like when I started out as a content researcher, my thoughts were like, oh, I think I'm more entertainment. And then when I got into lifestyle, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. This is like something totally different. But as I got to like get to know the people on our first meeting, and the kind of like topics that they actually bring up, the shows, when they tell me more about their shows, basically like the background of everything, so I can actually do my job too. I was pretty intrigued by everything, and I was like, okay, I need to work with these people like right now.
Working for Kovsie CTV means working with people, and it's not always that easy.
I prefer myself as a friendly social person, but when it comes to certain aspects of your work,
there are times when you wish you could just do it on your own, but you can't because the load is so astronomical. So working in a team is very difficult, managing the different personalities. And I think the biggest lesson was learning to remove yourself from your work. It's not personal, it's more an attack of what you did, and trying not to personalize that critique was one of the skills that you learned by virtue of working in a team.
Yes, working with the team. Sometimes people showed up for meetings. Sometimes people, like, we'd be excited about shooting, and then we would shoot, and then our channel manager would be like, nope, this is not going on YouTube. Nope, this is not going on YouTube.
It's a different platform, of course, as opposed to radio, where you're on air and you don't have to worry about a couple of things. It's just a matter of delivering what needs to be delivered. Whereas you're on live on camera. Oof, that's a whole nother big story, you know.
As a reporter, when you're about to report a story, you need to obviously have a videographer, you know, the production assistants to get everything in order before you start. So it might happen that at that time, you just have to tackle everything, be a reporter, be a videographer, like you have to take control of everything.
Kovsie TV is a lot. Like, I don't think you guys understand like what we go through. There's like shootings, there's presenting, you have to be in front of the camera. It's not easy being in front of the camera. I know I make it look easy, but like it really is not.
What I've learned from Kovsie TV is mainly how to work in a working environment. That it's all fun and games outside of work, but when you get to work, it's all serious and no fun and games. Even your colleagues will start being serious and you'll be like, okay, so I guess we're not friends anymore. We just work together.
When I first started, I thought like all I have to do is just a matter of just talk, and that's it. Just because I'm a loud person, rather than a bubbly person, you just talk, that's it. And I realized, you know, there's certain restrictions to it, like even just the way you dress as well. You have to make sure you think you dress to represent, and also just standing and just just positioning yourself in certain things.
I feel like the challenges that I've faced, I think it would be like my time management and having to like balance out the whole, I'm a student, I am a content researcher.
In the Kovsie TV team, we don't basically have like much equipment, so we have like a DLSR, and which we shot with for like a couple of times in the sports segment. So since we don't have a lot of equipment, you don't actually get time to actually use it, or rather practice with it. So when you're out there, firstly, it was actually very confusing for me as to what is happening in the DLSR. So each time we shot, you'd actually learn something new.
I also got to know people outside the marketing team, like your videographers and editors, and I got to learn and realize that things aren't as simple as they look, especially when it comes to content, because people only see the final product but never really see how much work it takes to get the work done.
I remember when I did my second footage, it was against CUT at the CUT Stadium, and as you're speaking live on camera, there's literally people and fans right behind you. There's noise and etc. So I'm trying to shut that noise out and just try to speak to you live on camera. So it's really, really different as opposed to live on radio, because there's no one disturbing you. Here, there's literally noise and background things happening behind you, and you're just trying to focus. And you can't look that way or that way, you know, because it can show as when it's taken as a video that, okay, now you got a bit disturbed, you know, you must keep on facing the camera, and of course smile when you face towards the camera.
The difficulties I experienced was I was not really used to telling people what to do. So I was now put in a position where I had to assign responsibilities to people, and at first that was a bit of a glitch for me.
Managing people, not being too bossy, but letting people express themselves, because at the end of the day we are students and we have different ways that we want to execute things. So that was also quite a challenge, but we managed to see it through with everyone working as a team. That's one thing I really loved about current affairs. We always worked as a team.
I'm not an emotional person, but Kovsie TV always taught me not to take things to the heart, because we're a team. Sometimes things are said and things are said, you understand? And you have to be professional about it, and you have to move on from it and not let your relationship with that specific individual get stuck because of what was said at that time.
There was a colleague that I didn't get along with, but I learned to put my ego aside and just work with the person. Like I said, working environment. Yeah.
whilst editing, you have to be so careful about what kind of story you're telling, because you're actually influencing very real and serious issues.
This is a revolutionary moment for women. This is a very revolutionary moment for women because it's about time that we get taken seriously.
You've got a protest against gender-based violence. You have SRC elections and different political associations contesting. These are very serious things, and a lot of people will be offended if you misquote them, if you put them in a way that embarrasses them. So you have to have all these considerations whilst editing.
I prefer videography than editing because it's easier. Editing, like, it needs time, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I take a long time to edit a video.
Sometimes it could happen. It has happened to the best of us, where you would shoot something, whether it's in photography or in video, and you see, oh, something wasn't in focus. Now you're stressing, and all those little tiny things are the major things that you should look at when you're shooting.
You have to be considerate about your content. Is the university given an opportunity to respond? Are all the voices represented? So these are all the questions you have to ask yourselves whilst editing, and at the end of the day, you have to put out a video that people will actually want to watch. So it's not so simple.
Like the video, it's putting things together, and photo, like, it's not, let me say it's not stressful, but it's all about patience. You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. If you're an impatient person, don't even dip your toe in the photography. Don't even.
People have different ways of working, if I can put it like that, especially when you're all creative people working together. Every creative person has their own direction of creativity, and sometimes creativities clash. And that's where I've grown in the sense of learning to appreciate other people's way of thinking.
Although I'm a content researcher or producer, but I'm learning how to edit, I'm learning how to operate a camcorder, and which is quite interesting because it then allows you or gives you the opportunity to grow not only as a content producer or researcher, but also as a member of this production, that produces good content. Well, we ought to produce good content,
I've learned, I've evolved, I've grown, and in terms of growth, I now do things better than before. And for us, given a permit to tap into other segments or positions other than the ones we were hired for was very constructive.
I grew in terms of having a lot of patience. Wow, patience, that was key. And also just having and accommodating and adapting to a situation, because that is something that you need to be very aware of. Because if you don't do that, people around you will never be able to feel comfortable in what they're doing.
For a very long time, I had aspirations of shooting my own documentary, and I think this gave me the platform to understand fully what that would entail. So I definitely appreciate being on Kovsie TV.
There's nothing wrong with liking things. There's nothing wrong with wanting to learn everything. That you want to be a videographer today, you want to be a presenter tomorrow. You can do everything. You can juggle everything as long as your schedule allows you to. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, working for sports has developed my skills, especially because I would actually like to venture into media and entertainment, definitely. So yeah, Peter has taught me a lot. And now I know more about sports, so I can actually have a conversation about soccer with guys now. Yes.
Before I became marketing manager, I was not much of a social person. So my social media presence wasn't really as active, especially regarding the position that I got into. So being put as marketing manager helped me with that, because I was then able to get out of the little shell I was in and get to explore and see marketing in a bigger picture instead of just uploading things on social media. And I realized it was also more about interacting with people, get more information on your audience, and yeah.
I'm personally studying towards a degree in journalism, so this aspect of media is very beneficial because if I essentially wanted to shoot my own project, I know from start to finish what I need, where to begin, the type of people that I would want to employ so that they can adequately execute my vision and my dreams.
And me being a presenter, I actually grew from actually being a little bit shy, a little bit being like, oh my word, I don't want the camera, from me being excited about shooting. I'd always ask, when are we shooting? Because I really want to be on camera. And I feel like I still need a lot of experience. I still need a lot of growing up to do. But so far, so good. It has been a great experience.
I've become more confident instead of being pretentious, which sounds terrible, I know. But it's really helped me because I used to pretend to be confident without really knowing who I am. But just working with Kovsie TV and presenting for them and producing for them really helped me in growing as a person.
I actually worked as the chief editor of Irawa this year, and a lot of what I've learned about current affairs is that it answers critical and important questions that we have as students. Another thing about the work and Kovsie TV is that working in current affairs is actually very similar to working at Irawa. I realized that editing videos is very similar to doing layout in a newspaper, deciding what elements go where, what you should prioritize, how you should position everything, doing graphic design for both of those, how do you tell stories, which sources do you speak to. And I'm very happy that throughout this year we got to be the campus plug on campus.
Also through Kovsie TV, I got to work for Kovsie FM. Which is the campus radio, and it's something I always wanted to venture to, but I never knew how. But thanks to Kovsie TV, now I'm part of it, and now I'm also strengthening that skill or that side of media, also focusing on this side. So it's been quite an amazing experience, and I'm excited for what's coming, honestly, yeah.
So learning the difference between what you want to see and letting it materialize is one of the biggest value factors that I have gained from Kovsie TV. And now that I have moved on from being a field reporter to now being a production manager, that comes with a whole other crew of responsibilities, and learning and immersing myself in that environment has been very interesting and challenging, and it speaks to my future aspirations as a journalist, as a filmmaker, as a person who genuinely wants to pursue telling stories.
Thank you so much.
You see, the former team, I was privileged enough to actually talk to them and work with them, such as BK, getting to know Ivan and Frank. And that was also a very nice experience because they know a lot and they know more, and they've done this for a longer time. And you actually low-key admire them for that, but you never tell them because you don't want them to get a big head. So yeah, but I really enjoyed, through Kovsie TV, I actually got to know people with such talent and skills and passion for shooting, or should I say film and media and stuff.